Sandwich. A nice tuna fish sandwich. Super hungry today. I'm getting a little tired of the never quite satisfied with food. But I only have tomorrow. Yeah, tomorrow. Tomorrow's my last day of doing this. I get to eat a bunch of eggs after that. Eggs and fish and cheese and ham and beef and not a noodle, not a piece of bread to be seen for a while after this, I think. Yeah, so if you can't tell, I'm not a big fan of the high carbohydrate diet the one that I chose to do. I'm sure there are ways to make it tolerable, but to me, if you have to put a lot of effort into making something tolerable, I don't know that it's the right choice for you. But I have a slightly different measure of some of that stuff. Because, I have done multiple days over the last several weeks of every hour on the hour, stopping whatever I'm doing to do multiple reps of several exercises. I've got 10 exercises, and minimum 3 to 4 of those each exercise for about 5 minutes. So my standards of what's a load of effort, although I will say, stopping to do push-ups and squats every hour, you do it for your 5 minutes and then you go do something else for a little while. This high carb diet stuff, yeah, sure, every meal you just eat carbs instead of fats or meat or proteins, but within 45 minutes you're hungry again. So the consequences of those choices are long-term more obvious or more persistent. I think it would be easier on me if it ever got to a point where I didn't chronically feel hungry. Or even if some of the food items were like, oh, that's so good. But the hard part about that is there are only so many things in my safe foods to eat for my system that I like. And doing a diet where I include them on a regular basis, it would make it so that they're not a special treat anymore. But I'd say this adventure thus far, I'm not anxious to repeat the high carb stuff. Not the way I've done it. I think potentially at some point I will maybe revisit some of the stuff. I think I mentioned before where I would feasibly go back and do maybe just 3 days of eating high carb foods until I'm satisfied, and then running the calculations afterwards as to how many calories I ate during that time. Because that's the thing I'm acutely aware of. You can eat 1,000 calories in a sitting with carbohydrates, and you're still going to feel hungry in a half an hour, 45 minutes. So to just eat all day, whatever carbohydrate things that you want to eat to feel satisfied. And I do think if I ever do the candy bar one, or maybe not just candy bars, but like candy, eat nothing but candy, could I do it for a month? I don't know if I could do it for a month. I think I might hit the edge of what I can push if I did it for 3 weeks. I don't know. I have to really think about it. I imagine in 4 or 5 months, I'll have forgotten how unhappy I've been on this diet. And I'll go, oh, yeah, sure, I can do this for a few weeks. And I'll commit myself to it. And me being as stubborn as I can be, I will stick to it. But I will go, oh, right, yeah, I hated this. I hated this so much. Yeah, it just goes to show, it's not that carbs are bad. It's that they can't be the only thing in your diet. But I was going to talk a little bit about how some of the health consequences of, I guess, both the diet and the exercise. I mean, I'm only Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. I'm 5 days in to endurance-based exercise. I've made some moderately regrettable choices lately. So if you see me moving a little noodle-armed, that's part of some of my choices lately about how to carry out the endurance exercises. Wow, man, I gotta tell you, I'm impressed with what the improvements have been in my physical capabilities. But wow. Yeah, the process of getting there is definitely like a rolling out of a moving vehicle on a few occasions. I tried to space a lot of it so that it's not quite that bad. It was hilarious this afternoon. For the other project, the one I'm hopefully going to post tomorrow, I'm doing sort of a end of that summary and seeing what where I've come from. I did when I started doing some of this stuff, I did a performance ability demonstration of where I'm starting from, which was pathetic. It was way more pathetic than I thought it would be. And part of that is, I think I've mentioned before that my physical fitness has always been perfectly good for doing the things I need to do. I can lift a box full of books. I think I was telling somebody the other day, I'm a book collector. You've seen my episodes of reading a book and then breaking it down for inspiration. I've been doing that for several years. I'm not even 1% through my book collection. So I have massive numbers of books. And of all those books, I have had to move them multiple times over the years. You get yourself a big plastic tote, and you put 50 to 100 paperback or hardback books into it, and you just move it. I have no problem with that. I periodically work for canvassing organizations, and they'll drop you off in a neck of the woods in the middle of nowhere and say, I'll see you in a few hours. If you need anything, you have text a message, and we'll take you to a local bathroom or something. And I'm like, all right, well, here you go. Here's your next 5 hours. Go walk in the woods for 5 hours. And, frequently it's like, well, I walked about 6 miles today, 6.5 miles. And I can do that 3 or 4 times a week easy and not hurt the next day. So my fitness level, like I can go 6-mile walks. I can lift probably 140 pounds relatively easily and just shift it around. It's not a huge labor to do that periodically when I need to do it, and my body's up for it. But it was absolutely hilarious to realize early on that, like, oh yeah, 10 jumping jacks is like feeling a little winded by the end of that. And then what was it? The lunges. Lunges weren't bad. The squats were bad. Squats were super hard. I think early on it was like 7 was kind of like feeling it. You could push to 10, but that was sort of like we're done. And push-ups. Push-ups were the one that just, well, no pun intended, push-ups floored me. Absolutely floored me. I did like the first time I tried to do push-ups, I collapsed on the first one, and took me a little while to get things worked out enough to be able to pull off 2 push-ups. What the heck is that about? But there's definitely a decided change. Those limits are definitely much higher now. I can do a lot more of each of those kinds of things. And that's only, I think, what was that? That was 5 weeks. And that's sort of what I'm hoping to pull off with the endurance exercise for like the bike pedaling. You know, start off and like you feel it by the end of 1 minute solid full pedal. You can probably pull about 1.5 minutes to 2 minutes with the medium pedal, or I could. And then, you know, the other day, just pushing it to the point where like, okay, just full on 5 minutes, medium pedal, not like a full breakneck speed, and then stop and do that every hour. And we'll do that as long as we need to do that until we can up it and say, all right, 8 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes. So I want to see over the next 4 weeks if I can reach a point where I can do 20 to 30 minutes solid of just pedaling without a stop. If I can reach that point, I think I'll be pretty impressed for a 4-week time frame. And that'll be a sufficient improvement for me to really value. And I think that's part of what I'm trying to do here is build a system of approaches to exercise that increase my physical capabilities, but do it in a way that doesn't absolutely destroy me. It's something I can do and see good, positive change in a time frame that feels reasonable to me. Like, it would suck if I had to spend 3 months getting to the point where I could do 5 push-ups instead of, 2 that I started at. And the way I'm doing that, I've already way past that point. Now, can I do them consecutively without a pause for a breather in the middle? Not really. But, I can do a fair number already that way. I'm already to the point where I can do many times as many as I started. So seeing that rapid improvement, it's sort of a reward and an encouragement to keep going. And so I kind of want to keep doing things like that. So my physical capabilities, I'm impressed with my increased ability. And it's an encouraging sign on all fronts for me for that. I will say I don't know that I've noticed a mood change from the exercise, but that can be compounded by the mood change of being cranky about the frickin' carbohydrate diet. Oh man. Okay, so that's probably interfering a little bit there. I haven't noticed lingering pain from any of the exercises I'm doing. And if anything, I've had some joint issues in the past that they feel like the day I'm doing the exercises, I don't feel them. And the day after, once I get moving, I don't really feel them. If I go a couple days after without new levels of pushing myself, I can start to feel the ache set in and joints. It's not the muscles that hurt for me. It was some of the joints, like my knees. And I usually get like a wrist pain. It used to be one of the first things. And some of that may be down to diet. Because I do know that I can eat certain things that instigate that. And I haven't been eating those things, but I wonder if, to a smaller degree, things like wheat might instigate some of those aches. I went a long time without eating wheat, and I didn't have any symptoms. But I've been, high carbing it for 4 weeks, and I may have hit a threshold at a certain point where my body's like, yeah, this is not something we handle well. But I wouldn't know it because it takes time to build up that response to it. But yeah, so physically, I'm not too bad. My digestive system's been a little pissy over the week. It doesn't like this a lot. I've had a few episodes where I'd worried a little bit about whether or not I set myself back a few years in digestive health. But it just seems like I just had a few bad days. So it's not super bad. Sleep is a little disrupted, like I said yesterday. I don't know if that's a physical thing or emotional or a combination of the two, or just the sheer shenanigans I've had to go through for the last several months trying to get my budget to work out, get everything I needed taken care of, and the trip out to California and the disruption to sleeping schedule for that. So that may be part of it. This is not a scientific study. There are too many confounding factors. But getting a sense for how my body handles some of the things, I've gotten a little bit of a sense of that. I do feel like when I do overexert myself or do hurt myself in some way, it's taking more to recover. And so, I'm getting bruises all over the place, and I think that's probably partly the nutrition. I get bruised pretty easily right now. I bruise like a peach right now, and I don't know where that's coming from. But I also know that when I've really pushed myself, and I'm a little worried about what tomorrow's going to be like, but when I've really, really doubled down and stacked a few too many levels of physical activity, like sticking to the fitness routine and then doing a day's solid hard work for a few things, like that might be a little pushing it. And it feels like it takes longer for me to recover from that. But is that age? Is that lack of sleep? Is that stress? Is that diet? Is that overexertion exercise wise? I don't know. I don't know what the factor on that one is. I do feel like the not quite jittery, but never quite calm that is a result of this diet doesn't help some of that. I think it leads to a low-grade constant tension on everything. And I think that doesn't help. So tomorrow is my last day of the diet. And then I gotta thankfully switch back to foods that I know I'm comfortable with, get me a lot of the nutrition I want, and like the things I feel like I'm missing, the macronutrients especially, but there's probably also some micronutrient lack because a lot of the carbohydrate focused foods are, for lack of a better term, a vegetarian. And while I'm including an egg each day for the French toast and like the tuna fish sometimes, not all the time, the tuna sandwiches, I mean, that's some stuff, but like if I'm getting a predominantly vegetable or plant-based diet, I'm missing out on certain vitamins over a longer term, and we're 4 weeks in at this point on this diet, so it's a long enough term that I may be feeling the consequences of not getting a lot of some of the other things my body maybe wants to help me recuperate from the exertions I'm putting it through. And it's enough time to potentially build up a mild, not like an actual deficiency, but a deficit. I'm probably not getting enough of the B vitamins, although there's some fortification in some of the like the bread stuff. It's hard to say, and it's kind of why I wish I was able to do. And I might, at another time redo this with a better budget, more planning for meals, get a little more variety, and see what I can achieve with a carb-based diet again in the future. But at that point, I'd want to see if I can get some blood tests done beforehand and some other measures. I'm hesitant to go too much more into detail about some of the results of the diet because there's some things to talk about. I got to figure out how to couch them right because, like I said, I don't want to be talking about weight loss or weight gain in certain numbers. I really don't want to talk about the caloric content of the foods that I've eaten, other than to say that overall my daily dietary intake is aimed at 2,000 calories a day. And I don't want to show scale numbers. And I'm not going to show off my body. And I'm not going to show off what belt loop I'm on at a given time. But I do want to cover, it's an effect that's happened during the course of this 4 weeks. And I think it's a pertinent effect because as I go forward and do the keto diet and the high protein diet, I want to see what effect they have on those same features, my weight, my body shape, my health, my aches and pains, my mood. I want to measure all of those factors and see if they make a difference. I can already see the carb diet has a distinct difference from my base diet, and I got to figure out how to talk about that. And I think I'll talk about that a little bit tomorrow. We're getting up on 25 minutes. Not much more to talk about here until I really figure out how to sum up this experience. I think I'll do that tomorrow. And tomorrow's food item will be the last one of the varieties that I ate. So I've done a lot of like waffles, French toast, ramen noodles with different seasoning, popcorn, tuna sandwich. What am I missing there? I did something else too, didn't I? Maybe not. French toast, waffles, ramen, popcorn, tuna sandwich. And then the thing for tomorrow. I think I'm missing one. Can't even remember. I'm just getting to the point where I'm ready to be done. I did do a little different with the French toast this morning, though. Instead of just French toast with powdered sugar, I did took a container of applesauce, like an unsweetened applesauce, and I added powdered sugar to it to make it sweeter, and sort of made it wasn't a frosting by any stretch. It was just a sweetened applesauce that was pretty good as a syrup replacement, because I don't have any syrup here. But ooh, I could make myself some almond macaroons tonight if I really wanted to. Not sure I really want to. We'll figure it out. Anyway, I am all set for this evening. Last update on this tomorrow night at 8. Tonight at 10:30, we'll be discussing what I'm working on with the video games that I'm making. And I need to see if I can update a edited video of a review and creative prompts based on a video game that I've played. So I got to figure that one out. I might just skip that and see if I can find a free game to do one of these recordings on rather than doing a full edit, because I don't know that I have the energy right now to do a full edit. So I look forward to that. Tomorrow, I'm going to be doing a fair bit of editing on the health and well-being category video. I wanted it to be done tomorrow, but since it's the last category of the month categories, so books, movies, we've done a book, we've done a movie. We actually did 2 movies because it was the Avengers Infinity War and Endgame, and then we did a Star Trek The Next Generation board game, and then we did a popcorn tool for product and service. Then we did a taste test the other day with M&Ms, and then we did art and music, which was listening to the the 2 top rated YouTube songs on YouTube search for full music video or something like that. And then after that comes video games, which is the one I'm trying to edit now. And then it's health and well-being. And I've got 6 days left in the month, I think. So I've got 6 days I could potentially put that out in. I'm not sure when's the best time to do that. And it looks like it's probably going to be more of an edit work video than I'm used to doing now. So maybe it won't go up tomorrow. Maybe the video game will go up tomorrow, and fitness will either be Sunday or Monday. And then for Sunday through Wednesday is videos. I got to find a better way to say that. And then oh God, total brain fart. Oh, writing. All right. Yeah, I've got 4 days of writing to just bang my head against for the remains of the month, to try to bang out some writing on The Goblin's Daughter. And then, and I'm kind of anxious to get back to playing with that. Then the start of the next month is, again, I'm trying to do the regular updates of the reviews and the prompts, as well as cycling back around to the creative projects. So the first 3 days of August are going to be the recipes. And then the week of the 4th of August is read a book, review a book, prompts from a book, watch a movie, prompts from the movie, as well as Viewsday night, and I believe I've got something else lined up for that Friday or Saturday. I can't decide which way I want to do that yet. And then each night that week is a writing week for creative live projects. So I should start getting ready for the workload. It's actually not as much work as this past week and a half have been. But that being said, it's still a boatload of work. So I'm going to get to that right now, and I will see you later. Take care of yourselves. I'll see you. Okay.